With the rush coming, finds T. Higgins, touchdown. That kid cannot be 19 years old.
He looks like he's been there his whole life.
Truly, we don't carry anything over. It's always about what's next.
Go! Shaka-laka, shaka-laka. Come to war, ready! Let's go!
Expectations are to build a culture that's built on effort, and if we accomplish that every single day, we're going to be a pretty good football team.
Our program has won 15 in a row. This team ain't won one. You got to show up every year with something to prove.
And we welcome you to Death Valley as they celebrate the second national championship in 3 years. An historic 15-0 season. ACC Network Primetime Football presented by Dr. Pepper. And welcome to Death Valley, South Carolina. We have been waiting 8 months to say that. I'm Dave O'Brien alongside my partner, Tim Hasselbeck. Great to be with you all season long, Tim. That is a great scene, one of the best you're going to see anywhere. And Clemson is absolutely loaded again in their title defense.
They are, and it starts with their quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback in college football, and you alluded to it. Their receivers on the perimeter are also probably the best in college football. We could be in store for some fireworks.
You know, they've got great receivers, and they're adding on, and you're going to see a couple of outstanding freshmen, a couple of them tonight, including Ngata and Latson, who may play very early in this game.
And talking to the coaches, they expect them to make an impact when they do play. I don't believe it'll take long.
Let's go to Katie with Jeff Collins.
Thanks, Dave. Jeff, the Jeff Collins era at Georgia Tech starts right now. What was the last thing you told your team before taking the field?
I love them. I respect them. I can't wait to get on the field with these guys. They've been through so much. They fought so hard. I'm just excited to see them play hard and compete tonight.
Thanks for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Dave?
Katie, thank you very much. So we're just moments away from the opening kick, and let's get out to Maria Taylor with Dabo.
All right, Coach, the model for this team is Carpe Diem. So how do they have to seize the opportunity to open up at home against an ACC opponent tonight?
Just bring our practice to game day. You know, we've had a good camp. We've practiced well. Just bring it to game day.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Maria, thank you very much. Maria on the sideline to cover Clemson here tonight. And Katie George on the Georgia Tech side. And are they ever ready here at Death Valley? And here come the Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets very young. Their roster including just 11 seniors. They've had to pull offensive linemen over to play on the defensive side. Joseph Ngata, he's the freshman, the wideout we've been talking about. The coach's eyes light up when they start discussing him. He awaits the kick. And we are underway. Trying to get the edge on the outside, hurdling to the sideline. Pushed out by Brenton King. And here comes Trevor Lawrence. Against Georgia Tech in week 4, that's when his legend began. 4 touchdown passes off the bench.
And Dave, he's basically just a stronger, better version of himself. If you talk to Dabo Sweeney, really worked on himself this offseason. It's hard to believe he can get better from what he did a year ago.
We'll start the drive at the 35. 1st and 10 for the sophomore quarterback. And a quick handoff. Trying to spin free. David Curry with the hit. So Etienne with the first carry of the season. Last season averaging just about 8 yards per carry. That'll bring up 2nd and 11. Lawrence to throw. Gets Higgins pushed out of bounds. T. Higgins with the catch. And Carpenter. First man to get him, Tariq Carpenter. Be a big factor in that secondary for Georgia Tech.
When you look at these situations, 3rd and short, when you have a quarterback that's more comfortable, more command at the line of scrimmage to get you into the right play.
3rd and 3 for Lawrence. To throw again. Quickly over the middle. And broken up by Georgia Tech. Intended for Higgins. Trey Swilling.
It's an outstanding break on the ball by Trey Swilling. You see it's just a little slant right there. T. Higgins extending his hands, but Swilling doing an excellent job of keeping that off arm from interfering with the receiver and getting that hand in there to break it up.
So Will Spires to punt. Wanye Thomas, who set 5 school kickoff records as a return man as a true freshman. He can be very dangerous back there at the 10. And a fair catch. He fumbles it. Clemson with the recovery. The Tigers pounce right away. And tremendous field position immediately for Clemson. Balin Spector with the recovery.
That's Wanye Thomas, a really experienced return man. Excellent, sure receiver of the football. Just doesn't judge it correctly. Good coverage there for the recovery. Terrible, terrible mistake early in this game for Georgia Tech.
So Lawrence and the offense quickly back out there. Etienne going on tackle. He's dragged down. Caleb Oliver in pursuit, got to him. Brings up 2nd and 11. Lawrence again with Etienne. To throw short. Ross trying to get outside. Got down close to the 11. And a 5-yard pickup. Zamari Walton with a tackle.
Basically extension of the run game there. Just flip it out to your talented receiver, block on the perimeter. Essentially a sweep play. Now you have a 3rd down in the red zone. Remember how big and tall these receivers are. Back shoulder fades into the back of the end zone. Big possibility.
3rd and 6. He'll throw again. Well, there's a short Armstrong. Nice grab there by Higgins. Right on the sideline for the reception. This is from our stick cam. And 1st and goal for Clemson. Chalk the tight end in motion. Lawrence to the end zone. The fade. Broken up by Georgia Tech. And that was Trey Swilling again.
And good start for Swilling. It's press man. You see Swilling on Justin Ross. Probably gets away with a little contact to the face mask of Ross. So he's unable to bring that one in. But they view those as 80-20 balls, not 50-50. Certainly the 20% there for Georgia Tech. They have to feel good about that.
Of course, Ross made that spectacular catch in the national championship game, that juggling one-handed grab. That'll be on his all-time highlight reel. He's going to keep it. Lawrence for the end zone. Touchdown! First touchdown of the season goes to the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, on a keeper. And the Tigers lead it 6-0. A 6-yard rush for the sophomore. B.T. Potter on for the PAT. 7-0 Clemson.
He's 6'6". He's a pocket passer, but they are not afraid to run him on the zone read. Great decision. Walk into the end zone for Trevor Lawrence.
Welcome back to ACC Network Primetime Football, presented by Dr. Pepper. Fast strike by #1 Clemson, 7-0. Lawrence in from 6 yards out after Thomas muffed that punt. And a huge mistake by the Yellow Jackets, so Clemson to kick off. And we will see the pro-style offense installed by Jeff Collins and his offensive coordinator Dave Patnode. No longer a triple option, no more flex bone for the Yellow Jackets. And Thomas will let that one sail. So who will the quarterback be? This has been a week-long mystery for the Yellow Jackets. Could be one of three guys. Lucas Johnson, the junior, Tobias Oliver, the sophomore, or James Graham, the freshman. Who's coming out of there? And it's Oliver to lead them out. Primary backup a season ago. Had a great game against Virginia Tech. He rushed for 215 yards on 40 carries.
You mentioned three quarterbacks. He's probably the best runner of the group, Dave.
Totally different look here, although he'll keep it. And power off to the left side. Tyler Davis bringing him down, and that's a name to know for Clemson fans. Big freshman, 6'2", about 300 pounds, from Apopka, Florida. The coaches say he came to Clemson knowing how to practice hard. 2-yard gain. Oliver trying to keep it. He's dragged down and tripped up. That was Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons, probably one of the best look-at linebackers in all of college football. 6'4", 230, and he is unbelievable in space. We mentioned Oliver's a good runner. That's an outstanding open field tackle by the outside linebacker.
He's in the conversation for the best all-around athlete in college football today. 3rd and 7 for the Yellow Jackets. Oliver rolling, looking to throw. Fires short and complete. Malachi Carter, and Simmons another tackle.
It's an outstanding idea by offensive coordinator Dave Patnode to move the pocket. Remember, these are offensive linemen that are used to blocking option football. Move the pocket so you're not in a traditional pass protection mode. Get the quarterback on the edge. Well done.
Pick up the first down. Carter, typically their deepest threat. He averaged about 19 yards per catch last season. And the handoff right through the middle, right down the heart. And that was Jordan Mason with the carry. Mason 6'1", 220 out of Gallatin, Tennessee. Came out of the shoe. Throwing short. Screen, he's got it. Thomas actually down low and skipped it. Tanner Muse there to cover. That'll bring up 3rd and 21.
It's these situations, 3rd and forever. If you're Georgia Tech, you're not comfortable passing the football. Getting into these known passing situations will destroy you tonight.
So a long 3rd down. Oliver running right. Not much there. Chad Smith getting to Oliver. Bring 4th down. So Thomas with a huge stop on that drive. Kendrick back. Harvin, an outstanding punter. And he will take it at the 15. 7:59 to go here in the first quarter. 7-0 Tigers. 1st and 20. Etienne trying to bounce outside to the 30. He's loose to midfield, to the 30, 20, 10, touchdown, 90 yards. So that's an early one for Etienne on his Heisman resume here on opening night. And the kick is good to make it 14-0 Clemson.
It's a lag draw, good block, and then you see the power and the speed of Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne tying the longest run in school history. A 90-yard touchdown romp. Last time it was done for Clemson, 1951. And he was shot out of a cannon. Part of that explosive offense the Tigers will send after you on the ground and in the air. Thomas into the end zone. He's going to bring it out. Looking for room. Surveying, and he is tripped up. So a very short return as he elected to bring it back. End of the quarter. Tigers on top, 14-0 over Georgia Tech. Welcome back to ACC Network Primetime Football presented by Dr. Pepper. Recapping the first quarter, Clemson on top 14-0. Thomas with the muffed punt leading to the 6-yard touchdown run by Trevor Lawrence. And then Etienne off to the races, 90 yards for a touchdown, tying the longest in school history. Everything when we started to teach them the new offense was brand new to these guys. A lot of these concepts they hadn't had since high school.
They installed their base offense, but I think they're trying to do things that they know they can, do well with the skill set they have, which is why I think we've basically seen a spread version of the offense so far with Tobias Oliver at quarterback.
Griffin, the freshman, on that carry, and they love the young man. They think he's going to be a star. Did not get to the 20-yard line. Oliver with the carry. And Simmons again in on another tackle. So already 3rd down and 1. Another important call, fairly low snap. And it's loose. A fumble recovered by the Tigers. Another turnover by the Yellow Jackets. Xavier Kelly recovering the fumble for Clemson.
And it's option football. You see it there. Oliver puts it in the belly of the back. Griffin never really has a good hold on it, and then Chad Smith is right there, face on the football, and that's how it comes loose. Interesting to note there, the Clemson defense is playing cover 0, basically daring Georgia Tech to throw the football. They play and run all the way, really vulnerable for a big play, but just tempting them to throw it.
Just inside the 15. 1st and 10 for Clemson. The handoff, and all the way through Etienne, just like that. His 2nd touchdown tonight, 14-yard touchdown run. And they do not have an answer for Etienne. Not many do. The school record 24 touchdowns last season in a perfect 15-0 campaign. His 2nd one tonight.
You asked earlier if we thought that he may be getting overlooked. Not if he keeps doing this, and not if the guys up front continue to block like this.
Once again, a turnover, a huge part of it. Another mistake.
Just an absolutely brutal mistake by the Tech offense. Ball's on the ground. The recovery, they get the ball down deep in your own, and another Travis Etienne walk into the end zone.
Two turnovers. Clemson with the recovery, both in the red zone. That's 2 touchdowns, 14 points off the TOs. So 21-0. Number 1 ranked team in the country pouncing right away. Etienne in the thick of it with 2 touchdown runs. Well, you cannot come into Death Valley and make those kind of mistakes. Oliver shovels it ahead, but broken up. It's Isaiah Simmons again as we continue to call number 11 as he tripped up Mason.
Little play action, and we talked about it. 6'4", 230, runs in the low 4.4s. His length is incredible. Isaiah Simmons in space, it's hard to fool him.
Question is, did Simmons actually beat Etienne in a sprint that no one was supposed to see over the summer?
Would not surprise me.
I think the coaches looked the other way when they went head-to-head. Oliver rolling right. Picks up a decent gain across the 30. Stopped by Nolan Turner. So it'll be 3rd and 2. So another important moment here for Tobias Oliver. On 3rd down. Trying to keep it. Breaks free across the 40 and finally dragged down.
Number 8, Tobias Oliver
Picks up the 1st down, 11 yards. He's made some nice open field plays.
He's been an outstanding runner. You see, he's got Pickney in the open field. Obviously a mismatch speed-wise. He's able to duck underneath him. You see why Oliver is playing the position and why they are calling the game the way they are with him really as a design runner.
Well, we had heard all week long they were going to shuffle in 3 different quarterbacks. Sticking with Oliver, who's very tough on the ground. Again, a 215-yard rushing day against Virginia Tech last season. He rushed for nearly 900 yards. On a carry-off tackle and a broken tackle. Nice drive there by Mason as he stayed on his feet.
Mason, a big physical back, 6'1", almost 220 pounds, runs with a lot of power. He doesn't have the speed of a guy like Etienne, obviously, but a lot of power. And Georgia Tech inherited some pretty good running backs from the previous regime.
1st and 10. On the handoff. Breaking free again to the 40-yard line. Jordan Mason once more. And that's 6 yards. So moving the ball here against the Tiger D. You know, when Collins took over the program at Georgia Tech, he had so much work to do. He didn't have a single tight end on campus He had 13 running backs. Mason again to the right. Hard running here in the first half. Chad Smith with the stop. So third down coming up, 3rd and 1 again. Collins, born and raised in Georgia. He was a grad assistant at Georgia Tech early on. Served on the staffs at Alabama, Mississippi State, and Florida. Nothing doing on that carry.
Dave, part of the reason there's nothing doing is basically Clemson said, we dare you to throw the football. They are bringing everybody up. There's not a single safety deep. And so it would not surprise me if at some point here Dave Padnold says, all right, listen, we at least have to test you if you're just going to play us one-on-one across the board with no deep help.
On the handoff, Mason tied up. Nolan Turner with another tackle. His late father Kevin played at Alabama with Dabo Swinney. He'll then go on to play 8 years in the NFL.
You just can't do it. You're outnumbered, which is why Turner is unblocked. When you're playing cover 0, you don't have a hat for a hat, which is why, you know, Turner is right there in the hole to make the play. You should be excited, coach. You called cover 0, and they didn't make you pay for it on the edge.
So they take over 1st and 10. Brent Venables runs the scout team for the Tigers in their practices, and he plays quarterback.
And runs it really well, I might add.
He does.
Running around, throwing on the run.
And gets hit every once in a while.
And it brings an energy to the way that defense practices, and certainly showing tonight.
He said, when I get overcritical and the defense really comes after me, they'll nail me. They don't think twice about it.
Something tells me he's been hit a few times.
Yeah, he said last year he took a shot on the nose, a shot on the ear. It came up bloody. His team loved it. Etienne with the carry. And stopped by Owens. Gain of 3. Brings up 2nd and 7. Trevor Lawrence, the Heisman Trophy candidate. Clemson has never won. And he throws the pick. An interception by Georgia Tech. It's Swilling trying for the end zone, and he's pushed out. And it was Trevor Lawrence who had to recover to make the tackle to prevent the touchdown.
Trevor thinks that he has a free access throw to the outside. Swilling, who is having one heck of a night, just jumps it. You look at pre-snap, you see a corner here and a safety high here, but he thinks he's getting bail. But when you see this thing run, it's bail, and Swilling just makes a great read and break on the football. That's an outstanding play by Swilling. And he is having an absolute night.
Lawrence intercepted 4 times all of last year. One of those was against Georgia Tech. And picked off tonight. 1st and goal for the Yellow Jackets. Oliver trying to keep it. Getting down close to the goal line. Stopped by Johnson, Denzel Johnson.
A bizarre formation by this Georgia Tech offense. We saw Clemson repping those formations. Kudos to the defensive staff being ready.
Really speeding up the pace, but denied again. Swilling now signing the board with his social media handles. Get the ball, it says.
And listen, not to be confused with B.J. Swilling, Dave. B.J. That is at Trey Swilling.
Mentioned his dad, Pat, was a great NFL player. 5-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Player of the Year, a legend at Georgia Tech. 3rd and goal for the Yellow Jackets. And the snap goes to Mason. And Mason is denied. And another big stop by the Tigers.
Well, that's the second one they liked, is, hey, we're going to look over the sideline, act like we're talking, and try to surprise snap you. You go back to Brent Venables screaming at his defense about not being ready on that 4th and 1 earlier. Obviously not caught off guard there. It's a trick play by Georgia Tech's offense.
4th and goal, you got to go. Johnson comes away with it. Johnson with the pick. And what a stop by the Tigers.
How about this Clemson defense? Travis Etienne fumble early in the game. You make a stand. Trevor Lawrence interception, run back inside your own 10-yard line. Make another stand. That's sudden change defense, and that's really well done by this Clemson group. Really, it's a little play-action rollout. It looks like he has Jalen Camp in the corner of the end zone. Just not able to get it up and down. Looks like Skalski, the middle linebacker, pursuing, gets his hand up, and that's what knocks the football in the air. That's pursuit to the football and good team defense.
The senior Denzel Johnson with the interception, so the Tigers take over. Trying to run it right up the middle. And that's Etienne with the carry as he picks up 7. 2nd and 6 for the Tigers. Very warm night here in South Carolina. Not exactly a headline at the end of August, but a steamy evening as the reigning national champs get going on top 21-0 over Georgia Tech. And looking for more. Etienne with another powerful run, pulling ahead, breaking tackles. Eventually stopped by the linebacker Jackson, but he picks up a first.
And you mentioned powerful run. I mean, we saw the speed on the 90-yard touchdown. But when you see Travis Etienne in person, I mean, essentially tree trunks for legs. He's so much strength running in between the tackles. And I think they're even better at doing it this year than they were a year ago.
So 1st and 10. Another handoff. And another big gain for the Tigers. That's Lynn J. Dixon. And they keep on moving the chains. 10-yard gain.
It's actually the same run play on the long Etienne touchdown. That little lag draw has been successful for them so far.
Dixon again, finding room on that left side. Tied up eventually by Curry. 11-yard gain. Dixon rushing for 547 yards as a freshman. 8.8 yards per carry. Etienne just over 8 yards per carry. So those two backs do so much damage. Lawrence out of the gun, looking downfield, looking deep. Looking for Higgins, and Nugg's there. He caught it. He came up with it. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. What a grab by Higgins. 62 yards for the Tigers. It happens that fast. I remember he had that acrobatic juggling one-handed catch against Notre Dame for a touchdown in the Cotton Bowl. This was a beauty too. And fought his way to the end zone.
It's an outstanding throw when you think about Trevor Lawrence. Talk about responding. Last series out, you throw the interception. Well, how do you respond? Ball deep down the field with defenders at your legs, unable to step into the throw. Give T. Higgins the ability to go up and fight for that ball. It's not 50-50. It's 80-20. Impressive by T. Higgins.
Now, how about this? Georgia Tech 4th and goal on the 1. After the pick, they fail to punch it in. Clemson goes 94 yards for the touchdown drive just moments later. T. Higgins' 5th consecutive game with a receiving touchdown. 1st and 10 for Georgia Tech. His first collegiate pass and broken up. Tyler Davis was all over that one, or intended for him, and it was Nolan Turner with that outstanding play.
Nolan Turner's been everywhere. Makes a big play on 4th down behind the line of scrimmage. Tyler Davis, one of the better Tech offensive players, drives on that route.
2nd and 10. Take his time. Down to 9 on a play clock. Down to 4. Finally the snap. Stepping up and running to the sideline. He's dragged down. Simmons with the tackle. He has had a big first half.
I mean, he's just all over the place. You see the speed. Lucas Johnson is a tremendous athlete. Remember, he comes to Tech thinking he's going to run the option. Look at Isaiah Simmons close in that speed. They say he's low 4.4s, but with his length, probably plays like he runs in the 4.3s. That is covering some ground by Isaiah Simmons.
Sure is.
7 tackles for him already on the night.
Three receivers stacked to the left here for the Yellow Jackets. Really burning that clock. Low snap. Johnson steps up in the pocket. More coverage by Tyler Davis, the tight end. That was the man he was aiming for. 38 seconds before halftime. And Kendrick again will be back to receive the punt.
I love offenses being aggressive. It's 28-0 ball game. You were aggressive. I get it. But now you give Clemson an opportunity, still having a timeout, to get the ball back, potentially in decent field position.
Low punt. He'll take it right there. Back to throw again. Incomplete. Intended for Higgins again.
You know, you referenced Dabo not being real pleased. I think when you look at this 2-minute offense, if you're a coach, you love getting the opportunity for these 2-minute situations at the end of halves, because it gives you a chance to rep it in a game. And really, if you think about Clemson's offense tonight, that's the thing that hasn't really looked like Clemson's offense.
It certainly hasn't clicked on all cylinders the way it did against Alabama in the national championship game. On the move again. Evades one tackler, and he'll throw that. It's going to be picked off as he makes a mistake. Fumbled. And Georgia Tech retrieves it. Caleb Oliver. And that's 2 interceptions in the first half from a guy who was picked off 4 times all of last year. This one in the very final seconds of the first half. 28-0. Clemson with the healthy lead over the Yellow Jackets at the end of the first half. Etienne with 145 yards on 10 carries. One of those went 90 yards down the sideline for an electrifying play early in the contest. Let's go to Maria with Dabo Swinney.
Coach, I know that's not how you want to go into the locker room, but how would you describe that last series on offense?
I don't mind going in 28-0. I want to go every time 28-0. If you give me that every game, that's how I want to go in the locker room.
I guess the series is what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, that was sloppy. Bad decision right there, obviously. Bad decision, but you know, hey, we're trying to be aggressive. We're a little rusty. We got to get better. We got to play. It's the first game, but, you know, hey, we've done some great things. We've made some big plays on offense. Obviously turned it over early. And then great play by them. They tricked us. They fooled us on the coverage. But we came back and made a couple nice big plays. And then defensively, man, got a couple turnovers. We've gotten points off turnovers. Started with a special teams big play. Great job by Will Spires. Baylon Spector coming up with it. Goal line stand. So, hey, I'm pretty pleased for the first half. So we got a long way to go, but I'm proud of these guys for being ready.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Well, his team is up 28-0 in their season opener over Georgia Tech at halftime. And after this short break, Jack Collinsworth and the crew will join you for the ACC Network halftime report. And in the second half here from Death Valley. The #1 team in the country, the Clemson Tigers, the reigning national champs, have a 28-0 lead on Georgia Tech. Dave O'Brien alongside Tim Hasselbeck. You know, Trevor Lawrence with a couple of turnovers in the first half. I don't think his coach is that worried about him.
I don't think he's that worried about him, but I will say, you know, 5 first down penalties for that Clemson offense. A little bit surprising, a little bit of rust week 1.
Little bit of rust, but still 28-0 tells you a lot.
That is also true. Certainly ran the football well and did get big plays out of their quarterback and talented wide receivers.
He sure did. Ready for the second half. Georgia Tech to receive the kick. Lawrence also made an outstanding tackle to save a touchdown after he threw the pick to Swilling. So set for the second half. Georgia Tech on the first offensive play of the second half. It's Mason on the run. Now, Dabo Swinney told us yesterday, he said the national championship is not our goal. He said we don't even mention it. He said I don't like to have a goal where we don't have control over it. He was talking about his 2014 team, how he loved that team. They lost 3 games. They did whop Oklahoma in a bowl game, but he said injuries, freaky plays, you can't control everything. Oliver back in there. He's tied up and sacked. And for more on Clemson, let's get down to Maria.
Well, Dave, I was right here by the Clemson locker room when they came back out to the field, and Trevor Lawrence was the first one out, running to the field, and I saw his offensive lineman having to call him back, but he's ready to start this second half. And Dabo Swinney was really happy with the way his team responded to adversity, and one of those examples was Trevor Lawrence throwing the pick, but hopping right in there and making sure that no touchdown was run into the end zone so his defense could take the field.
Yep, terrific play. 3rd and 18 right away on the low snap. Oliver stepping up. Nowhere to run. Xavier Thomas and Tyler Davis met him.
Xavier Thomas, one of these guys that is a reload defensive lineman for this Clemson front. You see him get up the field. He's able to just retrace his steps and come back and make the play. And that's Tyler Davis. You mentioned it earlier, Dave. That's a true freshman starting on this defensive line, and they are excited about him, and they should be.
They love him. They say you don't have to lead him. He knows where to go. You never have to lead him, even though he's just a freshman. Kendrick back, and at the 40. That's where the drive will begin. 28-0 Tigers. Etienne breaking free, getting across the 50, which says 150 here at Clemson. 150 years of college football. 1st and 10, 156 yards for Etienne. He'll take the football again. He breaks it across the 30. He's off to the races, and he's in the end zone. 48 yards and a touchdown. Well, he's been unstoppable, Tim.
He's been unstoppable. He's going to get the credit for this touchdown. He does a nice job when he gets to the open field, but it was the guys up front getting him to the open field. You know, we talked to the coaches prior to this game. They felt like they were maybe more physical up front in terms of run blocking. We certainly saw it there.
Well, he's already over 200 yards, 205 yards, 3 touchdowns for Travis Etienne. And the point is good, 35-0.
I mentioned the big fellas. You see him pulling around there, sealing it off. You see Simpson. That gets Etienne to the open field, and he's shown us that he has the speed.
Etienne already with 205 yards by himself. That's a career high. 3 touchdowns in a game, tying his career high. And he has been outstanding to lead Clemson to a 35-0 lead. He is setting that Heisman bar very high indeed right away. Oliver to throw, and he has a receiver. He finds Howard. He's going to race down the right side. Muse gets to him to prevent a touchdown.
Little swing screen to Howard. You see it here. He just gets up the sideline. They run traffic there. Foster, who's dropping off into coverage, can't get wide enough. You out-leverage the defense and give up a big play.
54 yards at the 21, 1st and 10. Mason, a running back, alongside Oliver. Trying to get to that right edge. He breaks free. And an outstanding carry, stopped by Terrell. So 1st and goal for the Yellow Jackets. They're on the move.
They're on the move. And this is exactly, if you're Jeff Collins and you're trying to kind of build a little momentum in your program, how you want to come out after a tough first half.
Oliver with the pitch. Diving into the end zone, Mason. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. From 7 yards out, and they answer. Did he get in? He certainly did.
Just a version of the option offense. You know, they're not running that flex bone triple option anymore, but they're running this option with Oliver. Does a good job of getting to the perimeter. Good blocking on the edge. That's how Mason's able to dive in.
Wells for the point after. 35-7. Impressive drive here for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, an impressive 3-play drive capped off by a little option offense down near the goal line.
And the speedy freshman Joseph Ngata back to receive. And he'll bring it out. Gets by one man across the 20. And let's go down to Katie George.
Well, as you guys could imagine, this Georgia Tech sideline has been an emotional roller coaster throughout this entire game. But Jordan Mason's touchdown just there rejuvenated the defense. Junior defensive end Antoine Jones got up to everybody and said, offense will take care of offense. We've got to take care of the defense. Let's go out here and get 3 stops.
So 11:33 to go here in the third. 35-7. And some life for the Yellow Jackets. And Lawrence, a Heisman Trophy candidate in his own right. Handing off. Dixon. Stopped eventually by Walton, but not before he got 17. And a first down for the Tigers.
You just look at these backs for Clemson. I mean, they're getting to the second level, not being touched. It just speaks to how well the guys up front are blocking for them.
Dixon again to the left, trying to cut inside. Sophomore out of Butler, Georgia. So it'll be 2nd and 7 for Lawrence and the Tigers. On 2nd down and 7. Another handoff for Dixon, getting some work here in the third quarter. Stopped by David Curry. Curry, one of the guys they are really looking at as draftable in the NFL, the senior out of Beaufort, Georgia. And certainly has an NFL future. 3rd and 4. Lawrence wants to throw. Plenty of time over the middle. Caught by Lay. The tight end breaking free for a big strike.
This is really well done across the entire offense here. Look at Lynn J. Dixon in pass protection. Right guard gets beat. He's able to step up and get good contact on David Curry. Really good job of feeling and just subtly moving in the pocket to find Lay, the tight end, coming over the middle. That's good offense right there by Clemson.
That's a big freshman, too, 6'6". He's a big target. Rencher on the carry. His first of the night. Stopped by Kerr. So Darian Rencher, the junior. right here in Anderson, South Carolina. And a tight end lay will come off. Second down and 8 for Lawrence. Retcher again has an opening. Nice game. He picks up the first down, rushing for 9.
It's another nice run. It's also another nice job by this offensive line. They pull John Simpson. He gets out in front and leads the way. Retcher does the smart thing and just follows the big left guard.
Etienne now back in. And Retcher there with the carry with 8:34 to go. How about the offensive line for the Tigers now? 290 yards rushing, no sacks allowed.
They've been outstanding. They've also had 9 rushes go for over 10 yards. They're getting big plays out of the run game because of the guys up front.
And into the red zone again, this time without a turnover. And a handoff. It's Dixon. He's loose. He's into the end zone. Touchdown from 18 yards. And the Tigers punch in another one. Good block by Bockhorst up front. There has been a ton of good blocking tonight.
The guys up front really moving people around, which is why you have multiple backs having so much success. You just said they were at 290, up over 300 yards rushing now. You don't do that without the guys up front working together. So a little bit of a draw action. Matt Bockhorst, a backup offensive lineman in the game. Watch it how he gets up to the second level. Gets up to the middle linebacker. That allows for the cutback to Dixon, which is why he's able to get into the end zone. Good job of pushing the double team, getting up to the second level, keeping your feet for a big guy.
Clemson with a 42-7 lead. And Sawicki to kick this one. Brown to bring it out to the 15, takes a stumble, down he goes.
It's fun to always watch that defense.
Oliver to keep it, chased down from behind.
Number 8,
Oliver with the carry for 7.
brought down by Xavier Kelly.
And Kelly to bring him down, so second down.
6-yard pickup.
Trying to cut back the other way. Being chased and put down. Isaiah Simmons again, all over him.
Like I say, there is that man again. Tobias Oliver, who has been described as the best athlete on Georgia Tech's team, tries to cut this one back. We talk about his speed and that length. Also a nice job of not going for the horse collar tackle. Isaiah Simmons just covers so much ground. An absolute eraser out there.
Led the team with 97 tackles last season, has a bunch of them tonight here on opening night. And right through the middle, Tanner Muse with the stop on Howard, who got the carry. But a first down for the Yellow Jackets. Well, Travis Etienne, arguably the top returning running back in the country and a Heisman Trophy candidate, has been putting on a show tonight. He's over 200 yards for the Tigers. Here's 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. Oliver, quick pass and intercepted by Muse. Turnover at Georgia Tech. It was tipped by Spector. And Muse hauled it in for the pick.
You can see Oliver trying to just kind of work a little option route to the tight end. Spector runs underneath it. And that's just good job playing the football by Tanner Muse. Running to the football. Good things happen on defense. Ball gets tipped in the air. For quarterbacks, tips and overthrows. Kind of your biggest nightmare. Would not be surprised, and it looks like as this defense is taking over. Looks like Chase Bryce is in the game at quarterback.
Secondary can play, and they can dance a little bit. So the backup is in. Going to carry up the middle here for the youngster Dukes. Chase Bryce, of course, last year, one of his main contributions was that great save against Syracuse.
It's an impressive group of guys, 42-7. A pretty impressive performance by this Clemson offense.
Fourth quarter here at Clemson as they take over at the 22. A 42-7 lead for the champions. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown! Ladson with the catch, beating Swilling, and a sensational grab in the end zone. Just a freshman out of Miami. He had his knee scoped just a few weeks ago. There's some doubt he would even play in this game.
Well, he's playing. He's running the go route, and he's getting on top of the defender. And Chase Bryce throws an absolute dime, a perfect throw. No wonder Dabo says he'll play at the next level.
21 yards and the extra point to make it 49-7.
Georgia Tech rotates the coverage, which means it's Swilling man-to-man on Frank Ladson. He gets over the top, but there is no defense for a perfect throw, which that was by Chase Bryce. Looks like he even brings that in with just one hand. Frank Ladson, a guy that kind of flashed early, even before Ngata, as a kind of an early enrollee, one of the many that Clemson had in the spring game. You should be happy.
Oh, yeah. So the Tigers to kick off. Marion Brown back there. Right at the goal line. And they cover him quickly inside the 10. They smother him. One of the linebackers for the Tigers. Trying to run out of there. The carry by Mason, who's been a busy man tonight.
He has, and he's run the ball well with good power. You mentioned Jake Venables. Really cool situation with his father calling the defensive plays into him. He actually sneaks through there and almost has a tackle for loss. Young group of linebackers that are going to get valuable playing time and experience. Venables talked about how, you're trying to keep guys healthy, so you're not doing a ton of tackling to the ground, this time of year. And so because of that, you don't really know what's going to happen until the lights come on for these young guys and you see how they tackle in a live game.
Davis with the catch. Now, of course, his dad is the defensive coordinator, but Jake has been coached in high school by another coach. And Brent was telling us, he'd get home from a practice, and Brent might tell him, hey, this is the way you might want to do this. And Jake said, well, wait a minute. We're doing it a little bit of a different way, Dad. And he had to bite his tongue. It's like, I know you're being coached by someone else. Now his dad's his coach once again. Dropping back. And the pass is caught. And a long reception here by Blancato, who stayed with it for 34 yards.
Yeah, and really, it's bad distribution here. You never want two guys running to the exact same spot. But you're able to get Blancato's able to get beyond the defense. And it's a nice throw by James Graham. Good anticipation, is able to drop it down.
They consider him an Amendola Edelman type of receiver. A little bit undersized, but very tough. Flushed out. Graham, and he'll step out.
And I have to think that Georgia Tech is going to want one of these quarterbacks to emerge and take control over the job.
Yeah, don't they have to?
I mean, I think you do, just from a practice standpoint. Playing three different quarterbacks, having a different menu for each different quarterback, that's really not what you're looking for. But, coaches will always tell players, hey, you make the decision. We don't make the decision. You decide by your play. And I think they're looking for someone to really emerge out of this group.
2nd and 11 for the Yellow Jackets. Graham trying to keep it across the 30. And we'll bring up third down, under 11 minutes left.
You think about it too for Jeff Collins, Dave. You know, there's changes along the offense, but I think there's changes in terms of everything that he's done, in terms of how he is selling the program, how he was recruiting to the program. You referenced it with the Instagram handles on turnovers. Seems like everything they are doing at Georgia Tech is a departure from what they were doing prior.
Graham wants to go deep, headed for the end zone, and a touchdown. The strike for Brown, the freshman from Tampa, for 6.
It's an outstanding throw by James Graham. And Amarian Brown, you referenced him, the freshman out of Tampa, he has unusual speed. He can absolutely fly. They get him matched up on Kayvon Wallace, the safety. He's able to just run right past him. Good anticipation by Graham. And this ball is thrown early, and you can just see the speed.
And a point after good, 49-14 Clemson.
They said they wanted to have Amarian Brown give him some wrinkles. Well, here's one late, running by Kayvon Wallace for the touchdown.
Opening night, great to have Lee and Herbie and Reese and everybody here from game day to launch the ACC Network and the season opener for the reigning national champions and the Clemson Tigers, #1 in the land, rolling tonight 49-14 after a touchdown moments ago by the Yellow Jackets. Dixon trying to break free, but he's going to be tackled. 10:26 to go. Well, a great class expected in 2020. Rice keeping his footing, cuts back to the center before he's taken down by Owens.
And I think it's important when he talks about that, where, you know, sometimes you're not always going to get, especially if you have a player that's going to be right in front of a top recruit, you may not get the guy that's the #1 rated 5-star guy, but you want to find the player that is willing to come in, learn and compete, maybe wait a little bit, maybe have a younger player playing in front of him, like they have a lot throughout this roster. So, you know, sometimes people talk about their culture and you're not sure it really exists on the campus or within the program.
Yeah.
It certainly feels like it is legit and is something that he has already built and now is just trying to protect with the guys that he brings in here.
He became the first head coach to win a national championship by defeating his alma mater in the rout of Alabama, 45-16. That ended the Crimson Tide's 26-game winning streak. 3rd and 3. Now they have Texas A&M coming up, and then Syracuse right after them. Tries to pass. Powell with the reception. So they pick up the first down. Moving the chains here with 8 minutes to play at Death Valley.
You know, I'm struck just watching Chase Bryce play. As we watch Georgia Tech, they obviously are in search of a quarterback. Here's the second quarterback in the game for Clemson. He's a backup, and he's decided to stay here. Well, it seems like every quarterback that gets beat out wants to enter the transfer portal. Chase Bryce has decided to stay here, compete, get better, and obviously Dabo is, you know, because of the team and because of the margin of victory at times, is going to get action in games like this, and who knows what happens beyond that. But Chase Bryce certainly looks like a quarterback that continues to improve. Certainly no slouch. Came in with a 40-7 career record in high school. Very accomplished player, and he's done a nice job with his opportunities at Clemson.
And when he does play, he gets to throw to this core of wide receivers. Not too shabby. Approaching 7 minutes to play. And he'll fire it and complete at the 35. Student section hanging in there, staying long into the night. They're not going anywhere. One of the great scenes in all of college football when they come running down the hill, coming coming off the buses, and the place just goes absolutely bonkers. And it's deafening in here. Great theater. 3rd and 5. Bryce going long. Off the fingertips of Powell. Could not haul that in.
It's a good job by Powell. He was able to stack on top of Sims, the transfer that's newly into the lineup, and that's one there. Listen, if you can get one hand on it, you can get two on it. I think Chase is like, hey, man, come on. That would have been my second one of the night on a go route.
So a field goal attempt by Potter. This will be 51 yards. E.T. Potter gets a leg into it, and it is good. From 51 to make it 52 to 14. Heck of a kick here by B.T. Potter.
Listen, are there any deficiencies on this Clemson team as they try to repeat as national champs?
Oh, we just saw the longest field goal in 6 years for the Tigers at 52 yards by Potter to make it 52 to 14. And 6:11 to go here at Clemson. So coming up in the last 6 minutes of this one, Etienne with a spectacular first half, rushed for over 200 yards and a 90-yard rush for a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence with a couple of interceptions in this one. He also made a touchdown saving tackle after he threw one of those, and that's overthrown. Intended for Carter. Now we may see the third quarterback to work in this one. We shall see. Tyson Pomachan, 6'4" freshman out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. See if he gets an opportunity to get in for the Tigers. We figured we'd see at least 6 quarterbacks. We knew that 3 would play for Georgia Tech. Question was how many for the Tigers. Graham will rumble through the center.
You know, we're talking about, seeing that many quarterbacks, which certainly would be an interesting thing to see in any football game. I just feel like Clemson, when you look at, I think you go back to last year, they averaged playing about 72 players in every game.
Just a lot of guys, yeah.
Just even managing that. And now some of it obviously happens when games are, this lopsided, but they also will play, a bunch of guys in critical moments of games. And, this one is off to another start where, you look at the guys that participated in games, young players, true freshmen, walk-ons, guys like that end up feeling like they're a real big part of this program.
Will Sweeney gets across the 35, stopped by Carpenter. 52-14, Clemson. Well, they have lived up to that tonight with ease, really, on top 52-14, trying to break off another one on the run. It's Pomachan who's now into the ball game. The freshman quarterback, Tyson Pomachan, 6'4", about 210, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and ranked the top player in Connecticut. He threw for over 5,000 yards in high school.
And really what makes him special is he's an outstanding runner. And so, kind of what we've seen tonight is his zone reads with Trevor Lawrence and Chase Bryce. Certainly something that they feel like they can do with Pomachan.
So I think a lot of people are going to take a look at the final score. They're going to look at Etienne's numbers, 3 touchdowns, over 200 yards rushing, and going to say it's business as usual for the #1 ranked team in the country.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment because of the way they ran the football, because of the way they played defense. I I think the encouraging thing, if you're Dabo Swinney and his staff, is that you have 52 points on the board right now, and there's a lot you could actually clean up. You know, when you think about, you know, the turnovers early in the football game by that first group that was out there.
They'll take it across the 40. Pumachan keeping that. Minute 38 to go. Amazing to think Dabo Swinney parlayed a 7-game audition as the interim coach into the burgeoning dynasty here at Clemson, winning 2 of the last 3 national championships. Many believe they will get back to that championship game again. And who knows, maybe Alabama waiting for them again. They'll tiptoe out on that far side. Approaching 1 minute to go.
I feel like when you see Trevor and he's flips the hair back, I feel like he's just showing off at that point. You know what I mean?
You take it personally?
Well, like, we get it, man. You know what I mean? We get it.
Yeah. You saw what Hunter Renfroe said about him. He said, you know, for all the great things that Trevor Lawrence has done and will do, he can't play golf worth a lick. You know, he'll stand over it. He'll take about 8 practice swings. He'll fix his hair. He'll take some more practice swings. Then he'll shank one. He said he could have done that in 3 seconds. That's the one thing he doesn't do well. Pumachan spinning inside.
I'm still waiting for Trevor's response to that.
Right.
I wonder how true that is. Although he seems to be good at just about everything else. So wouldn't surprise me if he's pretty good at golf, too.
Again, he made a touchdown saving play with a hit before the goal line after he threw an interception earlier tonight. Final seconds here from Death Valley. And the Tigers are going to roll to an impressive win. And here comes the Gatorade bucket. Well, certainly the offensive star, without question, was the running back Travis Etienne. Etienne, 12 carries, 205 yards. So this one in the books is a big Tiger victory, 52-14. Etienne, 205 yards. That's a career high, and 3 rushing touchdowns. That ties his career high. This is the celebration. This happens after every victory here at Death Valley, as they will happily celebrate the win to get the season off to a great start in their defense of the national championship. So our final score tonight, Clemson 52 and Georgia Tech 14. Up next, it's all ACC. For Tim Hasselbeck, I'm Dave O'Brien, and we send it over to the gang.